But incredibly, it's the first time we've ever had one in the flying programme at the Air Tattoo, and it's the first display in Britain by this type in the Swedish Air Force. And it's from the 2nd Helicopter Division stationed at Malmön Airfield in Linköping engine. Sweden originally decided to fly the Black Hawk as an interim measure while it was waiting for delivery of NH-90s. All 15 that it ordered were delivered within 16 months. The procurement became permanent and they deployed them straight away to Afghanistan for medical evacuation tasks. And I'm delighted, as I was last year, to be joined by a former U-2 pilot, call sign Popeye, Scott Thompson. Welcome back to RIAT. Thanks, there. Great to be here. And great to see the units flying again. But let's talk about the configuration of this aircraft. This isn't something we've seen in a flying program before.
No, what you're seeing today is multiple sensors as it would look on an operational mission. Got signals intelligence on board that you see in the booms that are on the wings. Those are not fuel tanks, but actually where the mission equipment lies. Looking and listening, as we do. The imagery sensor on the nose, synthetic aperture radar, and the data link on the back of the airplane. A small satellite dish in that teardrop shape that takes the information that comes into the airplane and puts it through a satellite architecture to a ground station where they can disseminate the information to the appropriate commanders. Another unique thing you're never going to see at another air show is a gear up pass.
This thing, I believe, is the senior fan pod, isn't it, on this pod? If you buy the super pod. That's right, super pods on the wings. What about the nose configuration of this one? I know they carry different examples of that as well, don't they?
Right, there are different noses that you can put on the airplane, which is one of the things that adds to the complexity of the Dodge Charger.
Yeah. So just explain what's going on here in the display.
So today, what we just saw was just a normal takeoff being brought around to the gear up pass, which, as I said before, is something you're not going to see in any other air show, because we typically leave the gear down. After the gear up pass, we're going to a high key. This is going to be a no-flap, simulated flame-out approach. So what's happening now is the pilot is simulating that the engine has failed and a loss of hydraulics, which aids in drag of the airplane.
Now, while the aircraft is in mission fit for this demonstration, I'm expecting that the pilot is not in mission fit himself in terms of what he's wearing in the cockpit.
So, because the pilot isn't going to be going above Armstrong's line today, he will not be in, as we call it, a space suit, but he will be in just a classic flight suit. He's going to look like every other pilot, unfortunately for him. So the profile that you're seeing now is what the U-2 would be doing. The car will be driving onto the runway unless they're doing a static call, and they'll be talking the pilot down. Now what they're doing there is they're telling the pilot how far above the runway they are, typically from 10 feet down to the runway. And we count down in 2s, 10, 8, 6, and so on. The rate at which the mobile officer is making those calls tells the pilot a lot as to how he needs to react. And he's more than just a radar altimeter. You can tell the pilot more left rudder, left rudder.
And there we can see the car entering the runway.
landing on this approach. This will be a full stop landing, so you should see the chase car getting up right next to the airplane as it's landing, with the mobile officer providing those directive and informative calls down to touching down of that very fragile aircraft. And let's just reflect on the fact that when they return from operational missions, the pilots will be doing so in the, quote, space suit, and after a sortie that could last for 10 hours or more. That's absolutely right. So that pilot, after a long sortie, is definitely feeling the fatigue of sitting in one spot for that long. And the aid of your wingman in the car being able to assist you, it really helps and can get you through some real sticky situations with bad weather and things that can really jeopardize any flying operation. So, touching down now, after an incredibly rare demonstration, the Lockheed U-2S of the 99th Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron, US Air Force. 2, 1. And I think we'd all agree, long may these aircraft stay here, Popeye. Long may the Dragon Lady reign. An aircraft that has outlived so many of Kelly Johnson's other creations for the Lockheed Skunk Works, and justifiably so. Such is the capability it continues to provide. As the aircraft rolls past here, what's the tail arc we can see on it? The tail arc you're seeing is the 99th Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron's Friday patch. Ah, it's a dragon with a top hat sipping a cup of tea. Very nice indeed. And people can get up close to one in the more standard fit in the static park. That's right, the clean airplane is that we usually use for pattern operations is over in static, and you can absolutely go take a look at that. And again, where else will you see that? They can also take a look at your airplane. It happens to be sitting fairly close by. It's a 1939 Fairchild Argus, in case people didn't know. Well, Popeye, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Do thank the crew who put on that demonstration, and we hope the wind conditions are suitable for a repetition tomorrow. Let's hope it does. Scott Thompson there, helping me talk through a tremendous...